a little advertisement that was going. That was all created by the American Stroke Association, and you may have seen that on, running on television over the past month or two, or maybe even about a year. It's been going on, but the most striking part of it was that it said that a stroke occurs every 40 seconds. So we're not going to spend a huge amount of time talking about the science behind all of that. Just know that it's a serious problem, because stroke is very closely related to heart disease, and so it's not a laughing matter. It's not a trivial matter in any way, shape, or form. I'd like to do this. I'd like to just take a minute right at the beginning of our discussion to interview a couple of folks. I'm not sure if they all made it on to the call, but we'll see here in just a minute. The first person, this is Terry Fitzgerald. Terry, are you on? Oh yeah, I see you. You can unmute your line if you want to, if you can, Terry.
Done.
Okay. Terry and I go back a number of years. We graduated from high school together, so we're decades ago. And Terry used to write all my speeches until I finally learned how to do them myself. So we have a good relationship. She also chased me one day with a Louisville Slugger, so she's
still telling that story.
Got the good and the bad that go together there. But we're more like brother and sister, and it's been that way for all these decades, which is kind of amazing. But she had a problem. So Terry, we talked a little bit about your being willing to come on and tell your story. So can you just maybe start out, just tell us how the story began?
Okay, so I heard Althea mention at the beginning the connection of stroke and COVID-19. I had been reading up on that too, because the fact is, stroke has always kind of been the boogeyman of my life. I was always aware of the threat. My grandmother had a massive stroke at 81 and died, and my baby brother was 28 when he was riding home from a wedding reception with his family, and he had a brain aneurysm and he died. So, it was always like, oh my, I could have a stroke. And when they diagnosed me with sarcoidosis back in 1990 and gave me mega doses of steroids and all kinds of other toxins, my system went into just uncontrollable high blood pressure, and that's where I live. And so it was always kind of the specter of a vascular accident, heart attack, or stroke happening. So I tried to eat right. I tried to do the things you need to do, and didn't process stress well, but still I tried. And then, well, guess what? Tuesday, May 5th, the boogeyman came knocking at my door. Stroke. I had a stroke. And I had watched all the videos with the people in the society's videos of people having strokes and, coming back, and the friends and the family, but nothing prepares you for that. Nothing prepares you for that. My husband said, well, he called the paramedics right away. He said that I said, I have no idea, but he says, I said, I'm scared. I don't know what I said, but I knew right in that very ordinary instant, I was getting ready to get up and go get ready for the meeting. Everything in my life changed.
That's amazing. So that was this past Tuesday night this took place.
Yes.
So you made it to the hospital, and it was a very short period of time before the paramedics got there. So about 5 or 6 minutes before they got there. So what was your stay in the hospital like, and what was the prognosis?
Got there, ER, everybody was moving me around and yelling the words brain attack, which I wasn't really familiar with, but they kept saying brain attack, and that was a bit disconcerting, but they kept trying to keep me calm, and they kept running all kinds of tests. And so
keep you calm while shouting brain attack.
While shouting brain attack, exactly. But anyway, finally, the neurologist came in, and he just looked me in the eye and he said, "You've had a stroke." And he started talking about giving me that injection you hear people talk about, where if they get it in you right away, it's supposed to dissolve blood clots. But he let me know, he was a very good doctor, I feel. He let me know that he wasn't too sure the risk would outweigh the benefits, because he said it will make you bleed everywhere. It will just make you hemorrhage inside and out. And there is that problem for you since you don't believe in blood transfusion. And I asked him what he thought I should do. And he says, well, I really don't think you should take it. And he said, we'll see how things go. You seem to, be a candidate for some recovery. So then they started using those words like blood clot. And then they kept saying occlusion. And then they'd say stuff like cyst at the base of the brain. And I don't know. But anyway, their big concern was this occlusion. And they kept saying that, it was shutting off part of my brain. The blood was not flowing freely there. And so because of that, I was going to have problems. They put me in ICU for a while. And the thing of it was, I suddenly realized that left side of my body was gone. I no longer had it. They'd ask me if I could see, they do this little finger. I couldn't see anything, couldn't move anything. Nothing was happening. When they stand me up, I'd fall over. I couldn't sit up, couldn't stand up, because it was just gone. And they were very encouraging. They kept saying, well, in time, if you don't give up, if you, keep your spirits up, you will eventually get this side of your body back. I mean, you see, I'm waving both hands though, but they said eventually, because it was gone at that point, and it wasn't something that they thought there would be a quick comeback.
And that was on Wednesday?
That was on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm. So how long were you in ICU? That was overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday, or no?
Yes, right, correct.
So they move you into a regular room by Wednesday. And what do you think, what effect you have? Let me just make this clear to folks that are on the call. We have to include this, that when we talk about natural supplements, please understand that we're not saying that any natural supplement is a treatment or cure for a disease state. And by law, we can't make those claims. But Terry is allowed to tell her story, and she can pretty much say whatever she wants and how she believes. But you all need to understand that none of us knows the clinical circumstances or all the details. Remember, and mind you, she just had a stroke, so let's take all this with a grain of salt. So how do you feel that adding micro daily impacted you? Could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, I'm not a miracle cure person, but, and you know me, as you said, you've known me for years. I'm a bit skeptical about anything and everything, but I will try things. And I know that Jehovah designed the body with an amazing capacity to repair itself. And given the right tools, I know that can happen. So my baby brother snuck into the hospital against all odds, and he started me on supplements. He started me on supplements right away. And I wasn't expecting anything, and I'm not, saying anything, but just to cut to the chase, I woke up that next morning, because I always wake up at 3 in the morning. Well, always anyway, but especially there because it was so hot. And I get all tangled in the covers because I had no use of the left side of the body. So I'm, tugging and pulling with the right side and kicking with the right side normally. But all of a sudden, I was awakened by the fact that both sides of my body were kicking. Both legs were kicking. Both hands were tugging. And it kind of freaked me out at first. I thought maybe I was dreaming. So I didn't get up, but I just lay there and I extended my hand into the air. And my hand went up, and that freaked me out a little bit. So then I wiggled my fingers, and they worked, which was shocking to me because I wasn't dreaming. It really was happening. And I mean, was it a miracle? Was it the supplements? Was it both? Whatever the case, it wasn't a fluke because it didn't just happen. I mean, it continued on throughout the day. And so much so, I mean, I'm just going to say, which was kind of funny to me, but not really. The doctors and the neurologists and the people who had seen me in the beginning, they knew I had a stroke. But as the new nurses came on duty and they would tell the next nurse what was going on, they go, well, they say she had a stroke. Like they didn't even believe it anymore, And I'm like, I had a stroke. I really had a stroke. But the level of transition from one day to the next was so drastic that there were those coming on duty for the first time. Looking at me, I didn't look like a stroke victim. So, I mean, you know, those who knew, because there's still a little deficit in my left side, a little heaviness of the tongue. But, you know, I got my memory, I got my words, I got mobility. So it was just kind of hard to believe.
That was, that's pretty remarkable. You told me a story about one nurse, and you don't have to tell this part of the story if you don't want to, but you were in distress at the time, and she said that you were not in distress. This was before you started your supplements. Just how immobile were you at the time when the nurse finally believed it?
Say again? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
You were immobile.
Say it again, one more time.
You were immobile in trying to get the nurse to believe you that something was not right because you couldn't move. You couldn't clear you were aspirating.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was a very scary point, because you know you're COVID-19. You're in there alone. You are completely reliant on medical personnel, and they're just people. You know, they I don't know, whatever they do as they're there. So they listen or they don't. And yeah, this lady was not listening to me. I mean, I was in a state of distress, like you said, and they told me, because I was vomiting, which is really gross, but they want me sitting up, because they said, you know, because I had a stroke, I could aspirate, I could die. And I'm telling her this is what's happening, and she's telling me, no, you're not, you know. So, you know, and it is frightening, but you know, you just pray and hope you survive it. But it was kind of harrowing. I wasn't sure that I would survive it at that point. But as I say, and the point to me is, I got through that particular night, and I don't know. I'm just thankful to Jehovah that I had an advocate, that I had people who could get in there and see me, namely you, and that he was looking out for me. And I know that he was, because, you know, it's just no telling in this day and time how things will work out. But
well, it's not a good time to be in the hospital. That's for sure.
It's really not a good time to be in the hospital.
And that's kind of the thing that we've been talking about here on this call for the past few weeks, is we're trying to tell folks, you know, be proactive, do something now. An ounce of prevention right now definitely beats a pound of cure, because you might not be able to get that pound of cure when you get in the hospital. But let's talk to you a little bit more now. What do you think your prognosis is now, and what are the medical professionals saying?
Yeah, well, you know, because they sent me home on health care once I was mobile. So every day somebody comes. I've had a doctor come, I've had a nurse come, I've had 2 therapists come, and they do their assessments and they do the therapy. And everybody says, wow, you're doing great. It's amazing. And I totally agree. I mean, they talked, and they were still being very encouraging at first. They talked maybe months, maybe years, but you know, all of that has sped up just tremendously. I mean, it hasn't been 2 weeks, and it's sped up tremendously. And there's been, you know, just that dramatic change, which, you know, has shocked me. It's also seemingly shocked them as well. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I'm going to keep on with the supplements, as you mentioned. And with Jehovah's help, I'm just looking to get better and better. And I mean, seeing is believing for me. What can I say? Like I said, everything is in motion. I'm up, I'm at 'em, and with Jehovah's help, I'm going to try to keep it as optimal as possible.
Well, it's good to hear, Terry, and we're happy to see that that something woke up the left side of your body, and that you're back almost 100%. So it's clear to us that your speech is not affected, so we can see that, we can hear that. So that's a very good thing. So would you mind sticking around a little bit in case some folks have some questions as our call progresses?
Sure.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Now, we did have one other story that we wanted to share with you, but I don't see her on the call right now. If Rachel is on the call, if you do make it to the call, Rachel, we'd love to hear you tell your story directly, but I'm going to share with you what Rachel was going to tell us about. I spoke to her just a couple days ago, and she's told her story here before. But some people might say that, well, the reason why Terry recovered so quickly and so well was because she got treatment rather fast. And that's the conclusion that it would not be unfair to draw that conclusion, and that's fine. But Rachel had a slightly different story. She had a TIA back in 2011 and another one in 2013. And she didn't get to try microdaily until 2016. Her friend, Margaret Boyce, who is on the conference with us now, gave her some to sample. And Rachel described something very similar to what Terry just said, that in the middle of the night, she felt this like a warm sensation starting from the top of her head down to her foot. And all of a sudden, the discomfort and the lack of mobility that she had on her right side was no longer there. And that was just after her second dose. So if she comes on, we'll hear her just tell the story directly herself, so you can hear it from the horse's mouth. So now, for the sake of our discussion, let's make it clear again. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm the research director for the Healthcare Support Association of America. This conference call that we have every Saturday night at 4 o'clock is purely for educational purposes only. That's why we have this discussion. The entire planet right now, but let's focus on the 330 million people here in the United States, are trying to figure out what to do because there's a pandemic taking place. People simply do not want to die. We're being told on the news that if you get this COVID-19, there's a chance that you will die. And it's true. We're already approaching 90,000 dead people here in this country. They're predicting it will exceed 100,000 by just next month. That's only 2 weeks away from now. And the powers that be have decided that it is safe for things to go back to normal. And so people are going into restaurants, people are going into bars, people are going shopping again. Some folks are walking around not wearing masks. I pulled into a restaurant to buy a sandwich, and I was shocked that the server handed me this package and was not wearing a mask or gloves. So I almost threw the package back out the window. But to be quite honest with you, I really don't have much fear of it, and I probably should have more fear of COVID-19. I'm also doing some level 3 sanitizing of some of our accounts right now, every day. So I'm right there on the front line with the virus. So I believe that even if I do get exposed to it, that my body will be able to fight it back. And here's the reason why. Turns out in Shanghai, China, they were using intravenous vitamin C to fight COVID-19. Doctors here in the United States heard about it. One pulmonologist on Long Island heard about it while the media was trying to suppress it. So the powers that be were trying to stop that information from coming over here into the United States. This pulmonologist heard about it and started using it on his patients on Long Island. Don't have to take my word for it. Just go on the internet and Google IV, capital I, capital V, vitamin C, New York Post. Okay, because it was published in the New York Post. You can read the entire article yourself. It'll give you the name of the pulmonologist who did it. And he started having phenomenal results with people surviving COVID-19 just by adding nutrition to their body. So what are we saying? A nutrition-rich body can beat anything because it's all about empowering your immune system. Think about what's happening. And I promised you that we were not going to go too much into the science because the science can be technical and boring. But imagine in your mind a tree that has branches and leaves. In the most simplest terms, when a virus gets inside the body, if it makes its way down into your lungs, it's trying to make it to the very end of the lungs, like the leaf. The leaf would be like the very end. Alveoli, I think is what it's called in the lungs. It's trying to make it to that point. If it does, it replicates aggressively inside a particular cell inside the leaf, the alveoli. That causes a coating to take place on the outside of the leaf. That leaf, if it can't release oxygen and take in carbon dioxide, that leaf will die. That's what happens inside our lungs. As the lungs start to deteriorate, the immune system is rushing to trying to rush to the rescue. That's what causes the lungs to fill up with fluid. That's why a person literally dies from pneumonia from COVID-19. If you introduce high levels of antioxidants at the right time, at the appropriate amount, not so much so that it overruns the immune system, which is called cytokine storm. That's what kills so many people in the Spanish influenza. Calms it down and does it in a proper way, it can actually stop the virus from replicating and stop it from causing apoptosis or cell death, hence killing you. Catch it early enough. When you feel a sore throat, we encourage people to drink frequent amounts of warm water. So get some tea that you like and drink it frequently. So if you start getting a sore throat, you can also just add something like coconut. Get the pure, organic, cold pressed coconut. You can get it at Costco or BJ's, and just take a tablespoon a couple times a day. What you're trying to do is, if you've got the virus in your body, you're trying to make it head towards your stomach so it doesn't go to the lungs. That's the whole point of it. You'll survive it if it makes it to the stomach. It has a chance of doing you harm if it gets into your trachea and goes down into your lungs. Okay, so hot water, tea, and put some lemon in it so it's flavored or whatever it is you like, and coconut. Those are cheap, easy ways to kind of avoid going down that road. But short of all that, add microdaily to your diet. The micronutrient that Terry was telling you about, when I heard that she had the stroke, I just grabbed what I had in the house. We didn't have any extra bottles. I just took some of my wife's, put them in some little baggies and shoved them in my pocket and headed over to the hospital and tried to make it as simple as possible. I put a day's dose in these little baggies. So take this today, take this tomorrow, take this the next day. So she wouldn't have to think about it. Because I figured, how much brain does she have left if she had just had a stroke? So I was trying to make it simple. I didn't know the extent of the damage, to be honest with you. So anyway, she came out of it just fine because she did it that way. If you are someone that's having a serious problem, be it pulmonary, cardiac, or stroke, circulatory or otherwise, the regular doses is 2 capsules twice a day. But if you're having some of those other issues, take 3 capsules twice a day until those issues calm down. Then you can go to the normal dose of just 2 capsules twice a day. So it's very simple. It's called microdaily. I thought I had a bottle around here someplace so I could just show it to you on the camera. The history of it is that it was produced by Dr. Kedar Prasad. And let's see if Jeff and Helen came on the line. I want them to just tell you a little bit about their relationship with Dr. Prasad and what they know about the origin of this amazing product, because it was originally developed for the military. And I got a phone call. This is my history of being exposed to the product. Okay, I don't see Jeff or Helen on the call. But my exposure to the product was that a friend of mine called me and said, you need to talk to these 2 people. They were here in Florida. They were only going to be here for another day, and they're from Utah. So just being honest with you, I said, I don't care. I don't have time for this. I already got products that are great. I don't need another vitamin or anything else. But she urged me to talk to them. Her name is Irene. And Irene had told me about some phenomenally good things that was extremely helpful to my wife just a few years ago. So on the basis of that relationship and that relationship alone, I said, well, tell them to come on over. I got 30 minutes. I'm really busy. I don't have time for this, but I got 30 minutes. I wouldn't let them go for about 2 hours, folks. And I mean that when I said I didn't let them go for 2 hours, because they showed me some information that kind of blew my mind. I'm going to show you one of the things that they showed me right now. See if I can get this screen share to work. Now, if you all can see my screen right now, you're looking at a chart, a graph. And on the graph, it shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different patents that are listed there. Do you see them? Now, the second one says concussive blast injury. Now, that kind of connects to what we were just talking about, because I started reading over the patent in preparation for this discussion that we were going to have right now. And there's a link between people who have concussive injuries and stroke. They don't know if there's a direct connection, but they do know that there's a high correlation between people having strokes and having a knock on the head. So, and Terry, did you ever get a knock on your head? Probably so. Okay. Anyway, maybe that's what led to the whole thing. I know Rachel, when she told me her story, she, as a child, ran head first into a coconut tree. So she had a concussive injury. They didn't develop this because they were trying to help people who get hit on the head with a coconut tree or a Louisville slugger. This was all about soldiers on the battlefield and the military, because many of the soldiers would suffer concussive blast injuries because of being, hit by roadside bombs and things like that. But this has a patent, a micronutrient patent for treating that condition. It says here for hearing, but as we are now seeing, that it has a direct impact too on the damage caused by the concussive blast injury. But that's not the one that got my attention. It's the last one that got my attention, because my mother and my father-in-law, Joanna's father, both died from diabetes. When they showed me that this thing had a patent, look all the way to the right, micronutrients for treatment of diabetes mellitus. That was the end of it for me. I told him, I was kind of rude. I said, Jeff, stop the rest of your presentation. Just tell me about that patent, because I'd never seen any supplement that had a patent for the treatment, not formulation for a specific formulation, but actual treatment for diabetes. We've had so many different cases of people who have actually found that they benefited tremendously from their diabetes from taking this micronutrient. I want to show you this other slide right here. This is the physician desk reference. There's a natural product listed in the PDR that actually says that things like diabetes and stroke, as you can see, are glutathione deficient states. Just wrap your head around that, folks. Low levels of glutathione could be a precursor to diabetes and strokes and heart conditions. And one of the things that MicroDaily does very, very well is raise glutathione levels. That's one of the many things that it does. This was a study that was done here in Gutenberg University in Mainz, Germany, that showed they measured for the first time that low levels of glutathione also suggest a coming heart attack. That was published in USA Today. This is a screenshot from a movie documentary called The Hidden Epidemic. It's based on the longest running study in the United States in Framingham, Massachusetts. They're studying heart disease for more than 100 years. You'd think that after 100 years, they would have figured something out by now. But to this day, heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in this country. Cancer's heading that direction now, but heart disease is still #1. But this is a cross section of a cell that you're looking, a vein that you're looking at, the artery. So you can see the little red things in the middle there. Those are blood vessels, right? Those are blood cells. The white things here is the immune system, or the antibodies that is trying to attack the plaque that's built up here in between the artery and the inner lining and the outer lining of the artery wall. What happens is that the white blood cells that are coming along trying to solve the problem actually start causing more inflammation, because it slips in between the inner lining and the outer lining of the artery wall, and it starts to bulge. That bulge eventually causes a micro tear. When that micro tear occurs, what do white blood cells do? They form clots. If that clot comes out, that causes a blockage in the coronary artery. Not so bad if it would just stay there. Well, it still could create a problem just staying there, because you can have blockages and eventually that can create a massive coronary. But if that clot breaks off and heads toward the brain, what do you call that, Terry? A stroke. If it heads toward the heart, it's called a heart attack. That's how it all happens. And it was all there documented right in The Hidden Epidemic. And the sad part about it is they say once this starts in one place in the heart, the disease is everywhere, and the immune system becomes part of the disease. That's what that Hidden Epidemic video shows. I'm not sure if I kept the entire video. It may be on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in it, just send me an email. You can send your email to, what's the best email address? I have to figure out an email address that's easy for you folks if you want to just go to the website, healthcaresupport.org, healthcaresupport.org, and you can fill out the form, contact us, and request it. And I'll send you links to that entire documentary, The Hidden Epidemic. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to show that to you real quick so that you'd have an idea of how it works. The point of this is that if you add the proper nutrition to your body, Terry Fitzgerald is a case in point as to what your body can do when it tries to repair itself. Now, how much does it cost? So a lot of people are wondering, how much does it cost? How do I get it? Very simple. You just go back to the person who invited you to this call, and they'll tell you how to go to their website to purchase it. Okay, and it's simple. You get it as a preferred customer. You can pay full price if you want to, and I think that's about $75. But if you want discount and buy it for the same price we buy it for wholesale, just become a preferred customer. And that means just receive 1 or 2 or whatever you want every single month, and you get it for $49.95. So it's much cheaper to do it that way. They also make it with CBD. And if you're wondering how good CBD is, or if that's something that's good for you, let me just simply tell you, every cell in your body wants CBD. Every cell in the mammalian body has CBD receptors in it. The one you want to stay away from is the CBD that's extracted from marijuana. CBD that's extracted from hemp is legal, and it doesn't have any of the THC in it. Engage Global extracts their CBD from hemp. And once again, you can request that documentation. I'll send it to you. Just go to the website, healthcaresupport.org, or to the person that invited you to this call, and they'll send you that document showing the whole history of the CBD that Engage Global adds to Micro Dailies. So they've actually found a way to improve it. As phenomenal as this is by itself, adding CBD to it makes it even better. And there's a couple of folks on the call right now that may be able to share their story about how they benefited when they went from, they used to use this one, and just last month after one of our calls, the first call we had, switched to the one with CBD, and their whole life just changed. So maybe Valeria will be willing to share her story. So let's pause now for a minute, and we'll take any questions that you have. You have the ability to unmute your own line. So if you do, just unmute your line and just say your name. And once you're acknowledged, then you can ask your question. Or you can raise your hand. You see that feature that's on this Zoom thing also, to raise your hand and you can ask your question. If you have a story you'd like to share, you can feel free to share your story as well. But keep it brief, because we don't want to use up all of our time with extended details on the stories. Go ahead, Linda Ross.
Just wanted to say that my sister requested some Micro Daily, and she has a kidney problem. I remember you telling me over a year ago that someone in your family had a kidney problem. And see, the thing is, I was looking at the ingredients, and her doctor took her off of vitamin C, I think because vitamin C has potassium in it. And a Micro Daily does have some vitamin C in it. So I was just wondering if a person with a kidney problem, which one is the best to do? What did your sister do? And what should be happening now?
Every organ in your body wants these micronutrients. So you can't go wrong with this micronutrient. The only time that we would suggest you hesitate with this particular micronutrient is if you've had an organ transplant.
Oh.
If you've had an organ transplant, then we would need to have a conversation about DNA 136. But there's a chance that the immune system could become so strong it could, expel the organ. So we would discourage a person with an organ transplant from using this particular supplement. But DNA 136 would just assimilate into the body, and there would be no issues at all.
So your sister, she's taking Micro Daily, the one with the kidney issue?
Yeah, she's no longer in stage 4 kidney disease. She has taken probably every supplement that I've ever sent to her, she's taken, including Micro Daily, yes.
Is there any other supplements that my sister should be taking?
Yeah, you can send a message. Go to healthcaresupport.org and have her fill out the request for support. And once I've got her profile, her complete profile, then we can give her a specific protocol for her.
Okay, thanks.
healthcaresupport.org. Okay, Karen Russell, I saw your hand up first.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Great, Karen. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I appreciate the info. Wonderful. Just had a question regarding Terry. I know that you said that she did get some supplements initially when she was in the hospital. Was it just the regular micro daily that she received? And what kind of dosage was she taking with, recommended for her?
Good question. I went in with the micro daily, and I went in with the 750 milligram capsules of CBD. They also sell the CBD separately. You can buy 750 milligram and the 1500 milligram CBD. So what I gave her was small baggies of micro daily and small baggies of CBD. I told her to take 2 micro daily twice a day and 1 CBD as needed. If she felt pain or was confused in some way, she could take extra CBD. CBD is just extremely good all the way around. Now, since then, I contacted one of the representatives with Engage Global, Jeff and Helen, and they recommended for a stroke situation to be 3 micro daily twice a day, along with the brain boost. So, but as you can see, this formula worked very, very nicely for Terry. Now we've adjusted her protocol. So starting yesterday, she's already gone to 3 micro daily twice a day. And her husband is ordering the brain boost as well. So we want to make sure she gets 100% recovery.
Okay, great. So then I guess I should kind of do the same as what you just recommended to, I think it was Linda or whoever you were just speaking with, to try to send you a complete questionnaire profile on myself to kind of get a better understanding of what I should take and so forth. Is that correct? Yeah,
because when you fill out the support request, when you go to healthcaresupport.org, fill out the support request, now we get to see what medications you're on and other supplements, and we can help you make adjustments so that you don't, go too much in the wrong direction on things.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's see here. Judy Kendrick.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, Judy. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having this. Actually, my story is similar in some ways to some of the other that I've heard. One thing is I do have a kidney problem, and I have high blood pressure that's uncontrollable. Everything that they've given me except Diovan will not control my blood pressure. So I cut out salt and other things that they tell you to do, but it does not help. And actually, I feel bad all the time. My stomach hurts all the time. Off and on, I have times when I'm not as sick in my stomach as others. I already used the coconut oil that you was talking about that I get from a health food store here in Cordele, where I live. And so when you think that you need to take that twice a day, I just got up and took me a piece of it.
Yeah, that will help. And for if you can handle it, you might want to add cayenne to your diet as well. So a couple of teaspoons twice a day. Get an organic cayenne. If you don't want to just eat it regularly, you can get it in capsule form. But 2 to 4 capsules twice a day will bring blood pressure down. Now, short of that, if you're not already taking micro daily, are you taking any micro daily yet, Judy?
I never heard of it. A friend of mine who gave me access to your
this conference. Yeah.
You.
Okay. Well, then do this, Judy. get back with them, and I would highly recommend that you order. If you don't like capsules, they make hydro. Hydro is a powder form that you can mix in a bottle of water. So you just get yourself like a bottle of water like this, a 16-ounce bottle of water, and they have these little packets that you can put it in and drink it down. Each packet is like 2 capsules. So I would recommend if you want to drink it, you can do that. That's your option. But you want to take 3 capsules twice a day, okay? 3 capsules twice a day, and you probably will notice that you'll feel a lot better. And I highly recommend that you get at least one of those. Add CBD to your program also. If you can do the 1,500 milligram capsule of CBD, you'll benefit a lot. Okay, so 3 capsules of micro daily twice a day, and at least 1 CBD a day.
Do micro daily.
Yeah, and at least 1 CBD, and you'll probably notice a big difference almost right away. Okay.
And CBD. I also, another problem that I'm having, a trauma, I guess would be a better word, that I'm having is that my son, who's 51, has sickle cell anemia, and I've known since he was a year old. And now he has a growth in his throat that they say is definitely cancerous. And they're afraid that is going to cut off his air supply and kill him in his sleep. Is there anything that you all have that might could help him?
How old is he?
51.
51. If he can afford it, I would go on what we call a 666 protocol right away. 6 capsules of micro daily 3 times a day.
6 capsules, Okay, so in order to get it for him, because he stay in another state, would I have to go through the person that invited me?
Yes, yeah, they can help you, and then they'll set up an account for him, and send it directly to him.
Okay.
All right, and if you have you're going to have more questions, so feel free. Just remember, write down the website healthcaresupport.org, and you have access to our team to help guide you.
Hey, Jonathan, after you get these other 3 hands, I'll tell her a testimony about sickle cell.
Yes, please. Yeah, I was thinking.
No, you're a sweet person. I don't even know.
That'll be very good. Okay, so we'll get back with you. Okay, Judy?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Angelique Greer.
Hi. Okay, I got a question. Suppose you have a digestion problem and you're taking these capsules. Does that matter? Like acid reflux or something like that?
It can. It can. What we tell folks is that if they're sensitive to these to the capsule itself, open the capsule, and then just add the contents to your food, or just mix it in water and drink it down. But you absolutely will notice that your digestion will start to normalize. If it does not within the first couple of days, then we need to add bovine colostrum to your diet. Bovine colostrum will normalize gut function quickly.
Why?
Why? Because it has immunoglobulins in it. And it's the first food that mammals are given. It's the first food. We were engineered that way. Part of what it does is it builds up the epithelials in the stomach lining and thickens it up, number 1. It lowers bad bacteria and promotes the good bacteria in the gut. So it works to balance gut health. It's powerful.
Okay, I got another question. When you were telling the experience about these products, you said you were already involved with another group of products. What happened to those products?
Still have them. They're just like weapons in the arsenal. What I've always been searching for, Angelique, was a way for more people to be able to have impact on their health for as inexpensively as possible. We could sit here right now and we could talk a lot about lymphatic flush. The lymphatic flush system is unbelievable for what it does, but it costs $300. We could talk a lot about DNA 136 right now, and I would blow your mind with some of the things that DNA 136 has done, but it costs $200 for a month's supply for a healthy person. I would much rather encourage more people to get on something that's within the reach of most of us average people, $49, $49.95. So this is going to penetrate, it's going to help more people for less money. They get more bang for their buck. Now, when there's serious cases, then we go big, we go large. We go wherever we have to. Last year, for example, we had a case with a very bad cancer. One of our youngest daughter, 25 years old, had cancer in her ovaries. It was 10-inch mass in her ovary, 8-inch mass in her colon, and a 3-inch mass in her liver. Well, so instead of just going with something inexpensive, we recommended to her family going full blown. So she went full blown DNA 136, and here she is now. She still has no cancer in her body. So she's doing very good right now. So it does, there are times for those kinds of things, but for the majority of us, if it can be solved with something as inexpensive as $49.95, that's what we recommend.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing and then I'm through. You recommended that cayenne pepper for James. Just within a couple of days, we can already see a difference. So it does work. He got the capsules.
You got the capsules, and what effect did it have on his blood pressure?
Lowered it. I mean, like you said, it drops it instantly. And we tested it because he has one of those blood pressure cuffs things at home. And so we tested it to see before, after, and then even adding some more to see if it would go a little lower. And it works.
Yep. Drop it like a rock. Yeah, you could just get that from the health food store. So that's a good way of being able to control it. And eventually you won't need it. The only problem with the cayenne is that it gets you going and coming. But so most people don't necessarily like the afterburn effect of it. They just assume do something. So once you get it under control, then you can start reducing the cayenne and just stick with the micro daily. So, but thank you very much for your comments and your questions, Angelique Greer. Pat McGill.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, welcome to the call. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Microdaily is a very good product. I have to testify to that. I've been taking it a while, and prior to taking Microdaily, my energy level, I didn't have one. It helps you with your energy level. It also helps you, and I've always been a big person that ate roughage, plenty of fruits and vegetables. But sometimes with all the fruits and vegetables I would eat, I would still find myself dealing with constipation. So Microdaily helps you with that.
Yes, it does. Yes,
One
it
thing
does.
I can say,
I didn't mention that before. I'm glad you said that.
Once you start it, continue with it. I made that mistake of getting off, and I won't do that again. I just had a question, Jonathan, as far as with the economy being what it is, and there's a lot of people, as you know, have lost their job, struggling financially. Do you think that soon they would run a special with Microdaily? That's it.
That's a very good question. I'll tell you, the best way to get a special on Microdaily is to be the preferred customer, number one. And I think after 3 or 4 or 5 auto ships, you get 1 bottle free anyway. So they do support that, number one. If you're a military veteran, they give it to you for free. So your sponsor just has to fill out a form to get that. And number 3, you can also earn referral commissions just by telling other people about it. And that's another way to get it for absolutely free. So for anyone who's interested, maybe Alfreda, we can talk about having a business discussion maybe tomorrow at 4 o'clock for any who would like to. So we would use the same line. And for any who are interested in the business or generating some passive income, we could help you to do that, okay?
Okay, though.
So that will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Use the same link, okay? I'll be happy to have that discussion.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan.
You're very welcome, and thank you. Lynn is on the call.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I had a question. I know that I heard there was a new formula, like a methylated formula for people who have, issues with methylation. Does that come in both hydro and micro, or is it just?
No, yeah, it only comes in capsules. They don't, to my knowledge, they only have that in the capsules. So it's the MTHFR formula. So when you go onto the website, just purchase the one that says Micro Daily with MTHFR.
Okay, and is there, I probably heard this before, but I don't recall, for somebody who has excessive exposure to radiation, would there be like a certain amount they should take?
No, just the standard dose will do it. One of the patents that Lynn is talking about, this has a patent for repairing DNA damage caused by radiation. And the patent said that after 24 hours, I believe it was, the laboratory mice that were exposed to radiation showed 80% DNA repair, and the next day was 100% DNA repair. So Micro Daily, and by the way, our cell phones, that's radiation. So we're all being affected by it. That's the reason why cancer is not too far away from it, surpassing heart disease as the #1 cause of death in this country. So this is one of the best ways to repair your body's DNA caused by damage by radiation. So that's a good question. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's see, we got time for a couple more. There's a bunch of questions here. Let's go to Emily Quartamon. I'm going to try to get everybody. So I understand that some may not be able to stay on. That's fine. But we will try to get to all your questions, okay?
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to share my experience, particularly my mom's experience. Mom came down with a stroke in 2015, and she did therapy. Everything went well. In 2017, she had a brain aneurysm. She had to be airlifted from helicopter to Emory University Hospital, where she had brain surgery. Fast forward, she's doing fine, but currently she's in a nursing and rehabilitation facility. Mid-2018, I want to say, or 2019, mid-2019, Sister Lavette reached out to me a couple of times about Micro Daily. And I think the first time I just kind of read up on it, and then the second time she reached out to me, I actually purchased some for Mom. I did my research, looked up on it and everything. I discussed it with the doctor at her facility, and he was like, it's fine for her to take. Mom started taking that, and I really just feel that it was led by Jehovah for Sister Lavette to make contact with me. Lo and behold, now we're dealing with a pandemic, and Mom, she's currently in a facility where I want to say about 19 patients have passed, but she's doing fine. She's taking her Micro Daily along with other medication every day. And I really feel that the vitamins have really done it. I'm not much of a pill popper, so I take the powder that comes in the yellow bag.
Yeah, it's called Hydro.
Yes. I really enjoy that, and we plan on to continue taking these supplements. It's just so refreshing with all the scams that's going on in the world. so many people are pushing this product, pushing that product. It's just refreshing to see a product that actually works, and it's like you know it works because of the results that you've seen, that I've seen. So I just want to let everyone know that it is a good product. I recommend it. Personally, for me, it has given me energy. I sleep better, and it's just an overall good product, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you, Sister Lavette.
Thank you very much for sharing your story, Emily. That's going to help a lot of folks feel a lot more confident in the product as well. We got thousands of experiences where people are benefiting tremendously. I'm excited about it again because it's an inexpensive way to feel better. Let's see, another question here. Omar and Elizabeth Gutierrez.
Hey, Jonathan, good to see you.
Likewise, Elizabeth, good to see you.
My question perhaps has been discussed before because it's my first time, but in facing now the COVID and preparing for it, the difference between the micro daily and I'm looking at Immune RX. Are they compatible? Which one would be better for us right now to just keep our system up?
Good question. Some people are just using micro daily by itself. The reason we use Immune RX also is because Dr. Nakuzi calls Immune RX, he calls it intensive care in a bottle because it has an amazing ability to, you spray it underneath your tongue and it goes right into the immune system and helps the immune system sort out the good guys from the bad guys immediately so that the body does not overreact to a problem. So we use it for an acute problem. So if we're feeling some soreness in the back of the throat or something else, I spray one blast to the back of my throat and it's gone. But Joanda is taking the micro daily every day. I just switched back to micro daily every day. I was doing DNA 136 every day, but I've just switched back to micro daily myself because it's just more convenient and easier for me to use. So the two together is good.
Seems to be a bottle, I'm sorry, seems to be a bottle that says with colostrum powder. So these perhaps are pills, not the spray.
The spray. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm looking at one that's like a little bottle that says with colostrum powder. So are those pills?
Those are pills and that's discontinued. That's not the one you want.
Okay, so keep with the spray.
Yeah, just the spray and micro daily will do it.
Okay, and in reference to cancer, unfortunately this week a dear friend of ours has been diagnosed with a pretty aggressive cancer, late diagnosis. That would take us to the DNA level, right? The other products that you mentioned before.
I'd highly recommend
intensive.
I'd highly recommend it. If the only time that it's less effective is if the person has already made, introduced some very harsh and toxic treatments to their body, then that formula is not as effective. It goes down to 50-50. If they have not already introduced some toxic chemicals to their body, it's in the 90% range.
Okay, so if it's just diagnosed, is a good time to start?
The best time.
Best time.
Yeah, that's what happened with Javon, for example. She was in the emergency room and her first words were not hello, but when do I start? On DNA 136, and she never got any toxic chemicals in her body. And 90 days later, this is after 3 different forms of cancer. 90 days later, her doctors declared her cancer-free.
Now, I don't know which method he's going to take to treat his cancer, but if he decides to do chemo, for example, which I imagine is what they'll suggest, does this have any effectiveness? Can he still take it, or does it really just drain its potential?
I wouldn't recommend DNA 136 in that case. That's just throwing money down the toilet.
Throwing money away.
Yeah. Now, there are some people who have chosen to take micro daily along with chemo. The company doesn't recommend it because it reduces the effectiveness of the chemo, because now it's keeping healthy cells well while the chemo is trying to do its thing. So
then, just to face this COVID thing without a pre-existing condition, in our case, we could do the micro daily and then have the spray, the immune spray. And how many times a day should we take that spray? Or
just once a day is fine. Under the tongue, once a day. If you start having a problem, twice a day.
Okay. And for someone who has had cancer in the past, like Omar, that he's on a maintenance, does he need to take more or less of the micro daily?
He should be fine. Just taking 2 capsules twice a day, unless he has some other
capsules twice a day.
problem right now.
No, no, it's just maintenance, remission, but just maintenance.
Yep, that's it. He should be fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're
I
very
appreciate
welcome.
your time.
You can always fill out the questions on the website, healthcaresupport.org, and we can go into depth. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Alfreda, you had a comment, Alfreda?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, with cancer, a lot of the doctors, that's the first thing that they push. But it was interesting. I did a Google search on chemo's effectiveness on cancer, and it's less than 3%.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think, why are they giving us 100% of the time chemotherapy when it's only effective in 3% of the patients? Yep. And so you just heard Jonathan say, you know, that if the person does not take the chemo, that the DNA 136 is 90% effective and no side effects, you know. So that's something that the person should research, you know, to help make a good decision. And so, and then the other thing now, with we're dealing with COVID, a lot of times your people, they may be diagnosed, they have to wait, and maybe even longer now, to get into their doctor and to even get appointments. And if it were me, I would start with the natural remedies immediately. I had my sister, she had a lump in her breast. She was scheduled to have a biopsy, and we started a glutathione therapy because it was a month before. When she went in for the biopsy, the technician was like, well, Sheila, where did you say those spots were? You know, and so they brought in the original report to compare where they were. And they said, well, whatever was there is gone. And so they didn't have to do the biopsy at all. And so he could end up, you know, in that situation, we don't know, but right. Him doing something natural is the best way to go, irregardless of what the doctor says. And I can tell you story after story with that, you know. The person that was talking about the oh, what is it? Oh, I said I was going to comment on that too. What my grandsons have.
Sickle cell.
Sickle cell anemia. I have 2 grandchildren with sickle cell anemia. Whenever they end up in the hospital, which is not very often, I go in there and I use another product, you know, but that raises glutathione. And as soon as I go in there, I remember one time they were going to do an invasive treatment because his lungs, he got in the hospital and his lungs got worse, and they totally had no air sounds or anything. And so I went in there and I mixed it with some strawberry milk and I gave it to him. And she had tested him and said no air sounds. She came back an hour later and said, wow, you have some air sounds. So I said, can you test him again? Because an hour ago you said he had no air sounds. And I didn't tell them what I gave him. And so then right after that, within the next half hour, he had these huge globs of white or yellow pus coming out of his nose. And I know it was from the product that I gave him. And so the next day, he didn't have to have that surgery where they were going to go down in his lungs to figure out what it was that was the bacteria that was growing. So they didn't have to do that, and he was out. I think they kept him another day and a half. So I soon as something happens, and even before, because microdaily can prevent illnesses too, things like cancer, you know, so because your immune system's working correctly.
That's right. That's right. Thank you very much for sharing all of those comments, Alfreda. We appreciate that. And to add to that statement, the article that she was referencing that said that chemotherapy is 3% effective, the National Institute of Health, if you find the article, it says that it's 2.67% cytotoxic against cancer cells. So chemotherapy is 2.67% cytotoxic against cancer cells. So that's less than 3% effective. Very sad that that's the number one method that they will use to treat that horrible condition. But each person has to make their own decision as to what they do. And we highly recommend that you not take, that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust before making any decisions about your treatment. We are way past time. We'll take some more questions here. Just giving you a heads up. So if anyone needs to leave, once again, get back to the person who invited you to this call, text them, and they'll tell you which website to go to order the product. And you can always go to healthcaresupport.org if you want specific recommendations about any condition or a specific protocol. Lula Jester, please, your question or comment?
Yes, I am piggybacking on a suggestion you gave earlier, and you were talking about gut health, and you mentioned the bovine colostrum.
Yes.
Kind of interested in that, and dealing with the Barrett's esophagus, and that's a part of that. I'm wondering, will that also help address that issue?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. Just to give you an idea of how amazing bovine colostrum is, have anyone heard of the H. pylori bacteria?
Yes.
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 That's something vicious that you do not want to get a hold of. The treatment for it is unbelievable. Well, I had a family member that was diagnosed with it. They sent the blood test that indicated exactly what the levels were. She did not want to take the medication for it, so we just sent her bovine colostrum. 30 days later, maybe 60 days later, undetectable.
Okay. All right. So do these come in pill form or powder?
It's powder. The one that we have right now is produced at Dr. Nkuzi, is where we get it now. It's a pharmaceutical grade colostrum, and it's like $90 for a little 8-ounce jar. You take one teaspoon before every meal, or whenever you feel any level of discomfort, and this is how it comes. Very simple.
Okay.
One teaspoon
I will get
with a meal. Unbelievable.
I'll get with Dolores on ordering some of that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Is it good for digestion and?
Yeah, it will help with digestion. It will, but if that doesn't do it, then we recommend that you make sure that you add some a good probiotic to your diet also, and potentially some digestive enzymes. But usually the colostrum is enough to take care of it.
Oh,
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Tom Groh.
Yes, just had a quick question. I heard you mention free for veterans. I'm 100% total and permanent disabled, service connected from the Army. I'm 70 years old. I had a stroke about a year ago, but I was just wondering how do I find out about that program?
Whoever invited you to this call, you just go to them and tell them that you want the veteran program. There's a form that they have to fill out every month and send it in, and the company will send it to you. You just need someone to sponsor you.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Joylinda Clark.
Yes, I just have a quick question. I'm presently taking the DNA 136, and I just want to know if it's okay to take it with the micro daily, or do I switch over to the micro daily if that would be better?
I don't remember your specific issues, but we do not recommend combining them. If you combine the two together, they will offset the formula for both. So one or the other. If we recommend the DNA 136 for you, it's because you no doubt needed it. After you reach a maintenance level, then we switch you over to DNA 136. To micro daily.
Okay, I'll just text you my info. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for your question. Carlene T's iPad. Carlene T's iPad. Carlene.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Carlene.
Yes, it's Rita Saunders. Nice to hear you and see you again.
Oh,
I
very
just
good.
realized you were in another hat.
Yes, very good. Nice to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. I am currently serving in Ecuador right now for the last couple months. I just made it in time before we were locked down.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful.
Thank you. But I joined in late and I got some of the information, which part of my question first was, how do I get the supply here? Which I think you said link up with the person that send the link.
Yes, yes, and they'll have to ship it there because right now this company is not currently shipping in every country. They're shipping for
Right.
United States territories, and Canada is shipping too. And I just heard of one country in Africa, I think Namibia, that is opened up for Engage Global. But other than that, whoever ordered it for you, just give them a U.S. address, and then they'll have to forward it from there.
Okay, and could I get some some information? As I said, I came in late, just like about 20 minutes. So and it's the first I'm hearing of this product. So how could I get some more? Could I stay on, or tomorrow, would you be giving more information?
No, we're just going to talk about the business tomorrow, but my wife encouraged me to, my wife encouraged us to record this particular session. So you picked a good one to miss because it's recorded. I'll send you a link to it. If you go to the website, healthcaresupport.org, and request it, go to the contact form and just request a link to today's conference, and I'll send you out a link for it.
Okay, give me that again, healthcare.
Healthcaresupport.org. It won't be a public, it won't be a public recording, so we'll probably be uploaded to Vimeo or Venmo or YouTube as a private link, and then we'll send you the link for it so that you can have
Okay.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you for for participating and joining us on the call.
You're welcome.
Let's see, Karen Russell has been trying to jump back in.
Yes, hi, Jonathan. I do have just a couple of questions on a couple of health concerns, lupus being one of them, and another one that has to do with anemia. But let's talk about lupus. Has there been a lot of success or working with lupus patients?
Yeah, lupus is actually a no-brainer, to be honest with you.
Okay.
What you need is, when you raise glutathione levels, that selectively modulates T cells. The immune system, the way that they treat lupus is they slam the body with steroids to shut the immune system down.
Correct.
All you have to do is selectively modulate it. Raise the T cells in the body, and the B cells will go down by themselves. When you raise glutathione levels, T cells go up, B cells automatically go down, and that stabilizes the person. So we highly recommend that they get on microdaily for that.
Okay, all right, good. And I guess if they need to know specifically the dosage, then I guess should contact you, or would you just recommend the normal dosage?
Yeah, send them to the website. That way we can see everything that they're doing, and fill out the support form, and we'll give them a suggestion as to how they can take it best.
Okay, and then and I'm not sure if that lupus ties in with anemia or not, or if that's just like a separate condition, but it's also, concern there for severe anemia with blood clots, and basically that the red blood cells they're not maturing and they get eaten up before they can, I guess. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, with the anemia.
Yeah, that's a situation that may require something like DNA 136. We had a case just a couple of months ago where a woman's blood count was down to 2.7, and they thought it would be months before it would start to change, but within less than 2 weeks. I mean, she was supposed to be dead, to be honest with you. At 2.7, you don't have much, options.
Yeah.
But in less than 2 weeks, her blood count was already over 7 or 8 or something like that. They released her from the hospital, and I just spoke to the father just last week, and her blood count's at 12, 13. So she now qualifies for the surgery. So anemia is a tough one. Microdaily, will most likely do it, but I would recommend just go straight to DNA 136.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Yep, you're very welcome. Linda Ross.
Real quick, Jonathan, I just wanted to let you know, there is a sister who is so sick she couldn't come on today. She kind of breaks my heart. She has cancer. And so I was telling her about it. I said, sis, if I can point you to something that can help you after these chemo treatments, because she's got 5 more to go. And the point is this, after she takes these chemo treatments, can she get on this microdaily and keep this cancer away from her? Will it hurt her that she gets on microdaily after she does the chemo? Go.
No, that's the best. That's the best thing she should do is get on microdaily. Because right now, the chemo is doing massive harm to her healthy cells. So to help to ameliorate that, microdaily would be a good thing to do, and maybe adding lymphatic flush as well to try to help get it out of her system once she's passed the whole thing. Okay.
What lymphatic flush? What does that do? Does it get out the chemo?
It helps toxins, which is chemo is a toxin. It helps toxins.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Find a pathway out of the body.
I'm gonna do what I can to see if she can hear. She was just too sick to come on tonight.
Okay, well, we can just go to the website, healthcaresupport.org, and request a link, and we'll send you a link to this recording for this discussion, okay? All right, let's see here. Monique's iPad. We got 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap it. Monica.
Okay, I have a quick question. The micro daily, will that product help with like low nitrate levels, or like if you have sometimes where your hands or your feet be cold?
They're cold, you said?
Say that again.
You said their hands and feet are cold?
Sometimes, yeah, and like if you have a low nitrate level.
There's a very good chance that it will. I would try it right away. And if you don't get any results within, say, the first 30 days, then make sure you contact us. There's some other things that we would need to add to your protocol to help that improve. But you will probably see results in less than 30 days.
Okay, you just take the normal 2 a day or 2 packs a day?
Yeah, I would go with two capsules twice a day, or 2 packets twice a day. If after 2 weeks that doesn't do it, add 1 capsule. So let's say you're taking hydro, 1 hydro twice a day, open up 1 capsule and add that to the bottle also.
Oh, okay.
After about 2 weeks, okay? And if that doesn't do it, then make sure you contact us, and we can tell you some other things that you can do if that doesn't do it, okay?
Okay, and by the way, this is Dolores' daughter.
Oh, hello, Dolores. So nice to hear from you. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Alexandra Tete, you have the last word on this.
Yes, is micro daily considered a multivitamin, or are you encouraged to take a multivitamin with micro daily?
Yeah, it replaces any multivitamin that you're taking. We do not recommend taking additional vitamins with this. It could throw the formula off. It's a very delicately, precisely balanced formula, and any additional supplements in the forms of vitamins and minerals could disrupt the whole formulation, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for asking your question. Okay, I thought you had the last word. I see 3 more hands that have gone up. Judy Kendrick, you've come back. Desmond James, Desmi James, Dasby. Okay, Tom Grow.
Yeah, my wife has had 5 retinal occlusions where she had blood come into her eye. Would the microdaily help with that?
Is that because of high pressure?
Yeah, high blood pressure.
That is so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had folks whose blood pressure has normalized in a short period of time. Some that have some stubborn cases, that lingers on. But as we mentioned before, add cayenne to your diet. Make sure that you just add that as part of your diet. That'll keep the blood pressure down. But the microdaily will help all those vascular issues to heal up.
Okay, would it strengthen the vascular system in the retina?
Absolutely will.
Okay, and how much should she take on that? Two, three?
How old is she?
She's 70.
Yeah, usually 2 twice a day will do it. But because there's an issue here, I would just take 2 with each meal. 2 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, 2 with supper.
Okay, and okay, and she's taking other supplements, but you said quit the other supplements?
Yeah, all the other vitamins, it will conflict with it. You might want to add one of those doses, be with CBD, okay?
Okay, all right, and then does this have any effect on arrhythmia, heart arrhythmia, AFib?
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. It's that's one of its claims to fame, is its benefit for the heart.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's got one of the patents is for heart and pulmonary health, so it's outstanding. So if you have any additional questions, again, just remember, healthcaresupport.org. You can ask all your questions there, okay?
I'll do that, thank you.
You're very welcome. Judy or Dasmi, I see your hand is still up. It's your last chance. Hold on, let me just try and unmute you in case you can't mute yourself. Go ahead, Judy.
I was asking you about the blood pressure and about my kidney. So you told me 2 packages of the microdaily a day.
Yeah.
And the cayenne.
Yeah, you're taking the capsules of microdaily. If you can handle capsules, use the capsules, okay? 2 of them twice a day. You've got a lot of issues going on in your case, but 2, maybe 3 capsules twice a day, okay? And then the cayenne, if you get it from the health food store, then you want to take between 2 and 4 capsules twice a day.
2 and 4. Okay. And this will help my blood pressure.
Oh yeah, it'll help your blood pressure.
And the microdaily will help the kidneys and the other things.
Yeah, you may not even need the cayenne for your blood pressure, but you know this guarantees it. When you add the cayenne, it'll bring it down. Then once the microdaily accomplishes what it needs, you can eventually get off the cayenne. You won't need the cayenne also. Okay.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So elderberry, all this other stuff we be taking, don't need to take that.
You won't. You can. Elderberry is not bad. You can stick with that for now, but eventually you won't need it.
Okay.
See,
and
herbs,
vitamin C and iron and all that stuff. Just stop taking all that stuff.
Yeah, those vitamins and minerals, you want to stop those for now.
Okay.
Yeah, the herbs are fine to continue, but the vitamins and minerals, you want to stay away from those.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. Dasmi James, I unmuted you.
Yes, thanks. Can we continue taking the blood pressure medication along with microdaily and the cayenne pepper?
Yeah, we absolutely do not recommend that you stop your medication. Always consult your doctor before discontinuing medication. But if your doctor has given you instructions and you know how to take your blood pressure, then you can consult with your doctor about that. But these supplements will not have a negative or adverse effect on the medication. The only side effect of these supplements is you will need less of the medication in time, but always get your doctor's approval.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. What do you have for pain in the hip and the foot?
A microdaily will help with that a lot. And you might want to make sure that you might want to go 50-50 with regular microdaily and CBD.
CBD?
Yes, because they make a formula with CBD, and in your case, that may be the best one for you. Just get the microdaily combined with CBD, and that will help you with the pain also, and you'll sleep better.
Okay.
Too.
Okay, great. So how can I order it?
Just whoever invited you to this call, just get back with them, and they'll tell you which website to go to.
No one invite me. I heard my friend from Ecuador tell me she's gonna listen to you guys, and I said, let's send the link to me. So
Okay.
I don't really know. I just asked for the link.
Yeah, that's no problem. Just go to healthcaresupport.org, fill out the form, and we'll assign a consultant to help you. Okay.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Healthcaresupport.org.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
No, thank you. And
okay.
One last person here that looks like it's on a note.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon. Hey, I joined a little late. It's like 30 minutes late, but I have just one question. Which one of the products is best suited for diabetes? Taking care of diabetes? Is there any?
Micro Daily will do it.
All right, thank you.
Wow.
Micro Daily, take depending on what situation you're in, take 3 capsules twice a day.
Okay, thanks much.
You're very welcome. And Elizabeth?
Yes, really quick. Can I take vitamin C and vitamin D with a micro daily, or do I eliminate those?
Yeah, we encourage you to discontinue those.
Okay, what about turmeric or curcumin?
Those are fine.
So spices are fine, just no actual vitamins.
Yeah, avoid them for now while you're on the formula.
I'm on the formula.
If it turns out you need them after 90 days, then start adding them back in, but you won't need them.
No, we were just taking as precaution how they said, high doses of vitamin C and vitamin D that were good for the virus.
Yep, you're done.
So we'll eliminate those while we're taking them.
Yep, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine Robinson, the gift that keeps on giving here.
Someone already on a herbal protocol. From what I heard, that would interfere with the micro daily if I wanted to recommend that to them.
If they're already on an herbal protocol?
Yeah, specifically geared toward the COVID.
No,
this is a person that.
No, we're fine. If they're doing something herbal, that's fine. We just don't take it at the same time. Spread it out by about 2 hours, right? If they're doing something herbal. So take the micro daily in the morning and in the evening, and take the herbal supplement during the middle of the day.
Okay, and another question. I know you mentioned the micro daily CBC combination.
Yeah.
Which would be best for a person that is constantly exposed to it as a healthcare worker, specifically exposed to working with people with COVID? What would be a good something that to kind of protect them? They're on something, but from what I've learned and with this call and other things that Dolores Levette had shared with me, it sounds like to me this would be an addition. So would that by itself be okay for someone that is exposed, and maybe they could even recommend it to others that are in that position?
Yes, it would. It's so far it's been doing it. We've had a number of cases that have reconciled. Obviously by law we cannot and will not say that any supplement will treat or cure a disease.
Well, we understand.
But we've had some people who have been clearly exposed that their symptoms ameliorated just with micro daily.
Okay, because I just heard today a family was not on my side, but on another family member's side who's a healthcare worker. They were hospitalized with it, but they did make it home. Then they had a 20-year-old child, and all the rest of the family were exposed. The 20-year-old is actually in hospital now. What would you recommend if I'm able to, encourage them to help themselves?
I blast it personally. I would do 4 capsules twice a day.
Just of the micro daily?
Yeah, if you can get ImmuneRx, which you can, just go to amerixbio.com and get ImmuneRx also. I would add the 2 together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend the liquid, especially?
Yeah, the liquid is okay.
Would you recommend the liquid or the capsule?
Yeah, the liquid is all right. If they go with the hydro, just make sure that it's 2 packets in the bottle, and do that at least twice a day, and then just get some ImmuneRx as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and just keep us posted. Let us know how it's going. All right.
All right, I will.
Very good. Okay, so now let's see here. I think we got everybody. Alfreda, you got some additional comments that you'd like to share? Hello, Judith Haskell. Have you on?
Yeah. Linda called me and she had one more question for her sister.
Okay.
Yeah, so Linda. Wait, unmute, wait. Unmute your,
Sorry. My sister asked me to ask you whether or not she is on vitamin D every other day. Micro Daily has 400 IU, 100% of vitamin D. So if she takes Micro Daily every single day, she'll be taking vitamin D every day. Is there a problem with that since she's on vitamin D every other day? That's what she wanted me to ask you.
Yeah, it would be best if she discontinued the other vitamin D for now.
Can she still take the Micro Daily every day?
She should take Micro Daily every day and discontinue the other vitamin D.
Okay, the second question that she had was, had to do with her, wait, what was the other question that you had, Loretta? Okay, there was one more. Her taking her medication and the Micro Daily. Can she take them at the same time or should there be space in between? That's what she asked yesterday.
Yes, space it out if you can. It's always better to give yourself about 2 hours difference between any things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Very good. All right, folks. What an amazing discussion that we've had today. This was supposed to be 45 minutes long, and you guys have just drug this thing into an hour and 40 minutes. But that's okay. We want to make sure that everyone's questions are answered, that we give you the direction that you need. Next week, you'll be back with us again. We're looking forward to having a discussion. We're trying to see if we can invite Dr. Prasad to come on and give us an insight as to behind the science of the products that he has developed. But next week, we will be focusing attention even more so on COVID-19. That seems to be what everyone is more concerned about than anything. And we'll even talk a little bit about children, the impact of Micro Daily has been having on children. Okay, so we'll do that next week. If you have any cases where you know that children have benefited, please make sure you just bring them along. We'll discuss that next week. Okay? All right, so once again, folks, for the record, my name is Jonathan Jones. It's been my privilege to have been your host and moderator for this call. Same link next week, 4 o'clock. We'll be doing this every Saturday going forward, 4 p.m. It will be either myself or Alfreda. We'll be making sure we have this call for you. And tomorrow, any who are interested in the business will have the same discussion tomorrow about the business on the same link at 4 p.m. on Sunday. Alfreda?
Yeah, I thank you everybody for getting on the call. We had over 60 people join us, and that's really exciting that you're sharing and getting the word out and helping people stay healthy.
Thank you.
So true.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan.
Invite someone next week that you care about.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.